engineering. The other thing that's starting to, that presents itself is that you end up paying for value that you're going to create. And you've just got to get comfortable with that. You're going to pay a little bit more. You're going to pay for the value that you see you're capable of creating going forward after the transaction. And you just have to live with it. But so the net here is that the cost of capital has gone up. And so what are the implications of that? That puts significantly increased pressure on the operating performance of these businesses to drive the kinds of returns that are commensurate with the asset class, right? That are expected, that our LPs expect us to deliver. So that's okay, because our belief is that outperforming, the company's operationally outperforming its competition is the key driver of value creation in the first place. So that doesn't scare us too much. And candidly, we're operating guys. If you look at our backgrounds, we are get-her-done kind of guys. We're not your traditional private equity guys, if you look at our backgrounds. So that focus on operational execution, that focus on the disciplined execution of strategy, which is really where our focus is our source of our value proposition. As I say, we're not deal junkies. There are a lot of guys in our business who live for the transaction. They love doing deals. I'm going to be honest with you. To me, the deal is a necessary evil to get to do what we love to do the most, which is run these businesses and make them better and help those operations teams, those management teams, perform optimally. So let me back up and tell you a little bit about our firm and how we got here. So, in today's environment, we do believe we're uniquely positioned to create significant value in these lower middle market companies, because even in good times, those little businesses require a little more elbow grease, a little more dirt under your fingernails on the part of the private equity player in the first place. Our heritage is that we started as a consulting firm 5 years ago. We came out of the turnaround management business in the sort of the belly of the last turnaround, or the last downturn in the economy. And we founded this firm, myself and a gentleman named Ron Fountain, to be strategic and operating partners to institutional investors, private equity, venture capital, family offices, sort of arm's length investors in private businesses, with a focus on driving growth and sustainability in these middle market businesses. That focus on disciplined execution of strategy, that's that concept that I want to repeat, because that is the focus of where we create value. And over that 5-year time horizon, we spent, I would say, 80% of our time doing what's known as interim management, so running businesses on behalf of venture capital, private equity firms. For one reason or another, they needed a C-level executive on an interim basis to drive those businesses. And we sat down one day and we did the math, and we realized that we had literally created hundreds of millions of dollars of enterprise value for other people and been paid fees for it. And being the astute gentlemen that we were, we realized we were on the wrong side of the money. So, a year ago, we decided that we were going to get into the principal investing business. And that's where we are today. So what is it that uniquely positions us to drive value in these businesses? It is our operating experience. As I said to you, we are not your traditional private equity profile. We're not former investment bankers or M&A attorneys or commercial lenders. We're operating guys. And our investors, we've got a bunch of guys who sit on big fat wallets with deep pockets who are also operating guys. So let me tell you, just give you a brief profile of who we're talking about here. My background is I spent the first 13 years of my career in an entrepreneurial environment down at a company called Matrix Essentials down in Seoul, and then ultimately ended up in the Bristol-Myers Squibb organization, and got to a place where I had $340 million of responsibility, 225 people, multi-million-dollar operating budget, and oversaw business development activities for all of North America. And I'm the chump in the group. So my co-managing partner, Jeff Fallon, spent 15 years at a little place called Fairmount Minerals. Anybody heard of that? It's a former portfolio company of Kirtland Capital, where he was responsible for not only the day-to-day operations of the business, but he also was the driver of their M&A activities and merger integration activities. And I got to tell you, I've never been around a guy who's a better driver of people. And I don't mean that in an authoritarian way, but he's a great motivator of people. He knows how to keep people focused on the prize and provide them with the resources to get things done. He's just a rock star when it comes to getting people to move. Ron Fountain, my co-founder, former CFO of 2 Fortune 500 companies, COO of Dixon Eaton. He and I spent the last 8 years running businesses together. Again, just a tremendous manager and leader of people. And we've got a cadre of other folks who are currently deployed in other businesses right now on a full-time basis, who will come back to us when those gigs are up. But they're all hands-on operating guys. And then our value-added investor group. These are names most of you know. Dan T. Moore. Do I need to say anything about Dan? Joe Gorman, former chairman and CEO of TRW, who in a recent transaction we were looking at in the aluminum business. Well, Joe happens to be on the board of Alcoa. He added just a little bit of value in helping us understand the dynamics and the nuances of that transaction. Jim Shaw, who's a co-founder of Developers Diversified, has forgotten more about real estate than I'm ever going to know. And in a recent transaction where the real estate component of the deal became the prickly barrier to getting the job done, he helped us get through that hurdle in about 10% of the time it would have taken us otherwise. The list kind of goes on and on. Shelley Edelman and Boch Sells and Larry Pollock, guys who we lean on pretty hard and who hold us pretty accountable for driving results inside these businesses. So that's kind of what makes us a little bit different, is that we come at this from the bent of focusing on execution, on operations.